Yep, interesting novel. Again, I decided to review another novel, and for Halloween, you're probably going, why did you get a Star Trek novel? Well, not every Star Trek novel is called Ghost Ship. This was the first in a new series of books from Pocket Books, who are some of the best in Star Trek, and as you can see here, the book is 1994. It's seen better days, but hey, you know what? Not bad. The cool thing about this story is just how it's set up. Just to give you an idea, oh, sorry, there's your basic rundown. If you can pause it and read that real quick, it's actually pretty cool. But with that being said, let's get into it. So what's the story about, and is it really that good? I mean, Star Trek has actually been known to do some horror elements. I mean, just recently we've had the rip on aliens thanks to the Gorn and Strange New Worlds, so could have done stuff on that. But I felt that a novel was something unique and interesting for this year, and that not a lot of people do this. But in this case, it's actually pretty cool. The premise is basically this. In 1995, a Russian ship, an aircraft carrier, encounters some strange anomaly which literally rips the ship apart for no apparent reason and literally destroys all living beings, even down to the leather and the cockroaches on the ship. I'm not kidding. They literally add that in. And everybody's trying to figure out. Almost causes an international incident. We fast forward 300 years to the next generation. Season 1, by the way, as yes, Tasha Yar is actually in the novel. And we see the crew still trying to find their place with each other. And it actually makes for a pretty good setup. Basically, Deanna is detecting something. She feels all of these minds, all of this power, and suddenly some kind of dread, and also something she can't explain. And then the ship starts encountering strange anomalies. Then people literally start seeing ghosts on the Enterprise. In fact, at one point, Riker, who's worried about Troy because she's not acting normal by any stretch, he exits her room while she's looking for a picture of this aircraft carrier, this Russian ship, and he sees a Russian naval officer literally outstretching, like trying to be like, help me. And when he goes back in, she basically is like, well, I wasn't doing any of that, which is the first real major thing. And then everything just keeps going. They have more detections. People start reporting in more stuff. And then all of a sudden, Geordi, thanks to his visor, remember, he can see stuff in spectrums that, we can't see, in things like, only a sensor can detect. And suddenly he starts seeing all these people and he's freaking the heck out. And it even causes him some damage. I mean, he at one point even looks like he's scared to death. That's pretty impressive for a novel to set up. And it even reveals that he's in actual physical pain because of what's been happening. Even Data himself starts to have effects, and he doesn't know what's going on. And at one point, Data and Troy are literally attacked by this thing they start to dub the ghost ship. I mean, even Wesley, he's like, the ship is haunted. I mean, it's pretty impressive. And as they progress through, they start to discover that all hell is breaking loose. They discover this entity, this cosmic energy ship, Predator, for crying out loud. And on one hand, you have, a ghost story going on, and then you have this spatial entity. And this thing is dangerous. This thing could kill them easily. I mean, it destroyed a Russian aircraft carrier, and if you've seen how big those things are, you have an understanding of just how powerful this sucker is. And worse, it's literally messing the Enterprise up. I mean, the Enterprise is literally being turned into Swiss cheese at one point. I mean, it's pretty bad. They're lucky to be alive. And this thing is intelligent, dangerous, and it's just going from one trap to another. And it just keeps getting worse. The whole time, Troy is experiencing more of the dead people, and Data is being literally, just for all intents and purposes, attacked by this thing. It gets to the point at one point in the story where Data, he's wondering, am I really alive? Do I really exist, or am I just a machine? And he disobeys orders and goes out to try to find it. And the same, is pretty surprising. Then you have all the crew members basically just trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And at one point, Picard just understand, as he basically is confronted with a problem. Troy eventually figures out these people want to finally die. They want to finally pass on. So now he literally has the problem of, do I have the right to kill this thing and technically kill all these beings who have been transformed into ghosts or energy or whatever the heck you want to call it? And to do it, he goes into a sensory deprivation chamber, which is actually in the novel really cool how it's designed. This is just an excerpt from that. They've forgotten me. They've forgotten I'm here. But where is here? I'm not sure anymore. Do they know they've left me behind? Have they stopped monitoring? Did they forget having a captain named Picard? Wasn't there an entity? Riker wanted to leave the area, not attack the creature. Has he used this opportunity to do that? Ridiculous. But what other explanation? That thing's out there. It must have attacked again. It's taken all of us. And this is eternity for me now. My God. We must all be inside this thing. There's no other explanation. Why else would I be in here for so many days? How can there be such solitude? Man wasn't meant for this. I wasn't meant for this. I don't want it. My arms, they're falling off. I have no shoulders to hold them on. My elbows are groaning. My knees. How can I still be alive this way? I can't hear myself breathe. I can't swallow, listen. Nothing. Nothing. Where is everything? Everyone. Death isn't supposed to feel unnatural like this. But I'm not dead. I'm not dead! But life isn't like this. And how can there be anything other than death and life? Beverly, are you checking? They left me behind. They thought I died. Then they left my body in space. Somehow, my mind is awake. This is monstrous, unforgivable. I can't touch myself. A human being should at least have himself for company. Where am I? Let me out. Don't leave me in space. It's so cold here. That's just an excerpt from one page. That's what Picard, that's what Picard goes through. And through it, he even meets one of the ghosts himself. The final part of the book actually has its own pretty surprising excerpt, but I don't want to reveal that. There's a chance you might actually get to read this book. It's definitely worth it. This book is just one of many. In fact, I have another one from the series here too, from Pocket Books. And who knows, it might even be just as good too. Here There Be Dragons. John Paul. Either way, you... oh, I noticed that. They started to put the author's name on the cover. Here's the author's name in case you want to get it. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with my buy-in. They are definitely worth it. And surprisingly, the books are in pretty good shape. Now, the only reason this one looks a little bit more worn up is because I was reading at work, and yeah, not my best idea. At least in the case with Sleepy Hollow, it's a hardback, so it's a lot harder to damage. But yeah, I could have done better. Still, I think you'll enjoy the book. I didn't reveal a whole lot. I didn't reveal how they get out of it and all the other situations. But let's just say that it's not an easy novel. I think you'll enjoy yourself. Have fun, guys. I'll be seeing you. Happy Halloween. Like and subscribe.